Well, good evening, everybody. How are we today? It's Wednesday, it's hump day, nearly the weekend. I hope you've had a great day, and I can't wait to talk to you about this book. I know it is weeks away still, and I'm sorry for saying the C word, but Christmas is upon us, and Christmas has arrived in the author's lounge tonight, so let's see if we can find our host. Here, let me see. Come on. If we can get Jennifer in the lounge smoothly. These things are always at the mercy of the internet gods. Oh, there she is. Well, hang on.
That's the bit you weren't supposed to see.
I love it. Absolutely
Everything
love it.
on the table has just been shoved, and various board games and my feeble craft attempts at making a little board game cafe model. So you saw all the glue and everything.
There is nothing feeble about you, lady. Absolutely not at all. Oh my goodness. Gosh, I love it when it works. It is good. How the devil are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, not bad. Not bad for, October, I suppose we're in now. Gosh.
Except I have a oops, I didn't mean to do that either. I have a kitchen related injury.
Oh, no.
So,
That does no good
yeah.
at all. Hello, everybody that's joining us. Hi, Suzanne. Hi, Ruth. Hi, Jonathan. Nice to see you. That is really quite cool. What did you do? What were you chopping?
I wasn't even chopping. I was trying to clean a sieve. So who knew that sieves were sharp?
I had to say, I didn't know sieves were dangerous.
No, I didn't either. I'm going to be very wary of sieves from now on.
Okay, I expect to see that in the next book. There must be a sieve injury. I suppose you're supposed to wear them as hats, aren't you? Yeah.
Sieves?
Yeah, you always see kids in fancy dress with a sieve on their head, don't you?
Yeah, I if it was a metal one, I wouldn't go near it again. No, honestly, it was quite messy. It was like, on Bake Off when they have the crew all descend with plasters and everything. I kind of needed that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is just astonishing. Well, there you go. But yes, it is, as I said, we've hit, oh, hang on. Ruth is telling you to put lavender oil on it.
And I've got some of that, actually.
Believe me, believe everything that lady says, because she knows her stuff. Phenomenal. Absolutely. So we are in October, and the dreaded C word is galloping towards us at some speed. And you are my first Christmas book.
Oh, I'm very flattered and honoured. Thank you.
No, yes, I've said it. Yes, you're breaking the seal somewhat. Yes, Christmas has first, totally arrived here, and I can't wait to get into this wonderful book. But let's just introduce you properly, shall we? So I'm sure all the lovely people who have joined already know this about Jennifer, but Jennifer wrote her first novel when she was 8. That is still true, is it not?
Yeah, that is true. It was about ponies.
Fantastic. And how many have you written so far then?
Well, if you count that one, I've written 5, but I probably don't count that one.
No, okay.
So
well, you never know. Somebody might go for your back catalogue and demand it.
Yeah, they might. My mum still has it. I thought I asked her to send it to Puffin to get published. And I never heard back from them, which I thought was a bit rude. But actually, she never sent it. She thought it was too precious to part with, and she put it in a drawer for safekeeping. And I found it years later. So, yeah,
that is really good. Oh, good luck! Lots of lovely people are joining us, which is smashing. It's great to see everybody. Good evening. So yes, so Jennifer has written this wonderful book, Christmas at the Board Games Cafe. Now this is, I have to say, this was my first jaunt up to Essendale.
Okay.
So I've been filling in the gaps, so to speak. but it did remind me of lots of places, especially where you live up
Yes.
up there.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Because believe it or not, I don't know whether I ever said this to you, but I used to go out with a chap from Todmorden.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
Well,
And there actually is a board game cafe now in Todmorden.
no way.
There is.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. Oh, I'll
Yeah.
have to tell him that. No, well, his mum lived in Todmorden. This was when, obviously we're in London. So, yeah, or he's now in Saudi Arabia, but there we go.
Oh.
But yeah, so I know that area very, very well. And yeah, Hebden Bridge is one of my favourite places on the planet because it's just such a wonderful, wonderful sort of valley, and you really get Yorkshire there. And I really felt that it was echoed in this smashing book.
Oh,
yeah,
that's so nice.
No,
yeah.
it's great. So how important is location to you?
It was important because, I mean, partly, I'll be honest, I was writing this during the pandemic.
Wow. Right, yeah.
So travel was a bit impossible, and so basing it somewhere local to me was seemed like a good idea. But I do love Hebden Bridge and Todmorden and the surrounding areas, and the way that the little crisscrossing terraces go up the hillsides. It's lovely.
Yeah.
And I wanted somewhere with a sense of community, and I think both Hebden Bridge and Todmorden have that. And so I loosely based my towns of Hebbleswick and Essendale on them. But I needed, for the plot of the first book, Essendale had to be really little because there could only be 2 cafes.
Yes.
And both Hebden Bridge and Todmorden have a lot of cafes, so I made them fictitious rather than using the real towns, and I made them a lot smaller.
Excellent.
So
yeah. And what I loved about this, as the book starts, everybody's talking about how it's hard for small businesses to keep going during the summer. Is this something that you think is still very prevalent in Yorkshire?
I don't know how true it is in Hebden Bridge, to be honest, because I don't run a business here. But I do know that I was thinking a lot about seaside towns and how they must struggle over the winter. And there must be, I think it must be a really fine line to tread between catering for the locals who are going to be there all year round, but catering for the tourists who are potentially quite a lucrative market over the spring and summer months. So.
Oh, absolutely. And I think, there are so many wonderful boutique businesses that set themselves up in these little lovely towns all over the country. And they do. You do have the right B&B, don't you? Or the Airbnb.
Yeah.
And then in the winter, if you go, there is nobody. They are like ghost towns.
I'm sure
that's really hard.
I'm sure I read somewhere in Wales there was one place where there were only 3 people lived there.
No.
And everywhere else was a second home.
Gosh. Gosh, that's really hard. I don't know that, in Cornwall have certainly put the clamps down on it, haven't they, with extra council tax and all of that stuff. So what I thought was really lovely is obviously we're picking up some of the characters from the first book. So we see Emily, don't we, again at the board game cafe.
Yeah.
And she's a canny little businesswoman. I like her a lot.
Yeah.
And she's very much community minded. And it's the rallying cry, isn't it, really, of identifying which businesses are in trouble, understanding that there is a business community as well as the community in the village. And the way that you've pulled that all together, I think is phenomenal.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
It works. So do you think it's good for sort of topics like this to be in popular fiction?
I think I like to have, although they're cozy and they feel good, I like to have a few serious issues in there. So this one has the thing about the businesses struggling over the winter, and there's some bits about Kate, the main character, being lonely. The second book in the series, that's Love Letters on Hazel Lane. yeah, that one has the woman in that is Jo, is has had a partner who was a coercive controller, and she's been
Yeah.
bullied all her life. So that's obviously a really serious subject. So even though they're cozy and they feel good, I do like to have some of the serious stuff in, definitely.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I think this is what gives these books that are, you know, they're so important to us because they have that extra depth, and it's
Mm,
about that extra depth that I really like getting under the skin of, you know, because yeah, we love the coziness, we love the cuddle up on a Sunday afternoon with one of these books, but ultimately there is a strong message here, you know,
mm,
in a lot of everything that you certainly write and a lot of your colleagues do. You know,
mm.
there's lots of big ideas, but what I liked about this is, yes, there is the message about the business community, and whether you know, people reading this who are small business owners like us, because we are small business owners, sort of take
Mm.
comfort and possibly some inspiration from your characters.
Yeah, and it's funny you should say that actually. I haven't replied to it yet, but I had an email this evening, or a message this evening on Facebook from somebody who has actually started a board game cafe in Bramall in Cheshire.
Oh
And she
no.
basically said, yeah, and she said, oh, I really love reading your books, and especially when it's quiet and I'm, you know, and she said I get a lot of inspiration from it. And I just thought, oh, that's so lovely. And I'm going to have to go and visit that cafe now.
You are.
Definitely.
You are.
Yeah.
We've got a board game cafe in Uxbridge, in the
Oh,
in
wow.
the old part of town, because you used to live around here, didn't you? Well, sort of not far.
Yeah, yeah, I did. I've lived around there
Mm.
a couple of times actually. I've lived in West Drayton.
Yes, that's up the road.
Um, yeah, and I've lived, and then more recently, I lived on a canal boat in Brentford.
Oh,
And I can say I had my bottom blacked in Uxbridge
I
because
know. I know where you went and got your bottom black.
yeah, Uxbridge Boat
That's
Centre.
both.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they blacked the bottom of my canal boat. So
Oh,
I actually lived there for a week on board the boat while it was getting
oh
blacked. Yeah,
gosh. Yeah, no,
yeah.
in the oldest street in Uxbridge, the really old one, there is now a board games cafe in there. So you know, it is all good. Oh look, yes. So my friend Nikki, who owns a hair salon in Ickenham, she's resonating with what we're talking about. It's great to have the content in a book because it is so real. You know,
Mm,
Nick and I talk all the time about owning small businesses, and you know, it's great to see it reflected in literature, which is, you
mhm.
know, really really good. So also, what else was I going to say about all of this? So Kate, let's talk about
Yeah,
Kate, because
yeah.
we'll circle back to the businesses once we've talked about Kate a bit. I think Kate, bless her, our heroine, is Miss Perfect, isn't she?
Yeah, she
Yeah,
tries to be. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
she really is. How much fun is Kate underneath all the layers, do you think?
Uh, well, I'm probably a bit biased because Kate has been in every single book. So
Yes.
she's been the best mate in the first book, the second book, and the third book. And in my head, I thought
Yeah.
she's like the woman who's always the bridesmaid and never the bride.
Now center
Um,
stage.
yeah, and she gives out lots of dating advice because she thinks she's a dating expert, but she's
Yeah.
still single. And so I really always wanted her to just have a book of her own and finally find her man, like her friends have all found their men. And yeah, she's yeah, I think she's great. I love her. She was named after my next door neighbour, who is
Oh,
also a really fantastic woman. So
that's
yeah,
brilliant. No, you know, I mean, she is such a complex character because there is so much going on with her. Bless her. You know, she is. You know, she tries to be perfect, but she's got a real brain on her because
yeah,
she's the one who comes up with obviously the Christmas Advent um, sort of series for the village, and she works so hard for
yeah,
it. You know, she is. You can see why she's been. What was it? The best employee
yeah,
for the company,
yeah,
isn't
yeah,
it? You know, she is great, but she does go on a journey, and I
yeah,
did
she
feel
does.
for her, you know, when she says about, you know, all your friends are settling down and you're still single and you sat there smiling through your teeth, aren't we, sometimes?
Yeah,
Going, I'm so happy for you.
yeah. And that's from personal experience that, yeah,
Well,
I
yes,
drew on writing that one. Yeah.
yes. I think we've all been there at some point.
Hmm.
Yeah. But
Definitely.
yeah, no, that's hard. That
Mm,
for some women, when they are looking for love, to be left, on the metaphorical shelf, so to speak,
mm,
and then you do throw yourself into other things, don't you? You do, say, right, I'm going to be the best at something else because you've got this gaping hole in your
mm,
life. And as you say, you touch on the subject of loneliness with Kate.
hmm.
And again, that resonates. And I'm
Yeah.
sure that resonates with a lot of reasons, especially at Christmas, when
Mm.
so many people that you don't think of are on their own, aren't they?
Yeah, and I used to, and even though I wasn't on my own at Christmas
Mm,
because I've always seen my mum, and went before my dad passed, I always saw my dad.
mm,
When I was single, I still found it really difficult that, I didn't have children to hang up stockings for and all of that kind of thing. It was hard. It was really tough, especially when the big 440 was approaching. I found that a really difficult period of my life. So I think these characters of mine, they're probably early to mid 30s, and they've got that on the
yeah.
horizon. And yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You took me back. You really did.
Mm,
Because as I say, I think a lot of us, have been there at some
yeah.
point. And if you don't have a family of your own, and you're not creating those traditions, and as you say, you're not hanging up the stockings on Christmas Eve, and even though you're there on Christmas Day, you can still be the loneliest person on the planet, even though you're in
Mm,
a room full of people, can't you?
yeah, definitely. I think even lonelier probably than if you're just on your own, because there's a feeling of Um, yeah, I think that's why I mentioned the Christmas adverts, because it was always used to get to me, the Christmas adverts with the big laden dinner table and everybody gathered around it, and I would feel like, well, I should really have a family like that, a really big family and lots of people around that Christmas dinner table, and I didn't have.
Yeah.
I had a small family and no children of my own, and it was hard.
Yeah, it is hard, but I think it's very brave to tackle that.
Mm,
To have your grit underneath the loveliness, but
hmm.
that's a really big one, and it's not many that most writers would go for, if you see what I mean.
And
Yeah.
it seems to permeate quite a lot in quite a lot of my books, I
Okay.
think, because the one I'm working on now, it's there again in a different guise and a
Mm,
different character and a different scenario, but underneath there's a loneliness.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. We'll talk about that with wine when I see you next.
Yeah.
Most definitely. Kate's relationship with her parents is also quite troubled, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah, she's laboring under an illusion about her parents' marriage, which has broken down, and she thinks it's broken down for one reason, but actually it's broken down
Mm.
for another. Um, yeah, and that's affected her adult life. It's this uh, belief that she's been labouring under that just isn't true.
I know, and that's really quite sad, that one,
Hmm.
because it has affected such a big chunk of her life.
Hmm.
But also, when she does get to the crux of the truth, how she, her resilience really shows through,
Hmm.
in the fact,
Yeah,
that she manages to sort of find her way back to the path, and
yeah,
yeah, and sort of repair relationships where they are needed.
yes, yeah.
Yes,
And her dad played a big part in helping her through
yeah,
that. And
yes, I love
yeah,
her.
yeah, so do I.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he is
Yeah.
a fantastic character, and,
Mm.
and I suspect again, like, and I'm sure, does he have echoes of your dad?
Um, a little bit. My dad was a wonderful character. He didn't have a shed, but yeah, I think my dad probably, yeah, a little bit probably, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm sure my dad seeps into every dad that I write, and yeah, and little bits in the way that little bits of me seep into every main female character that I write. Yeah.
Osmosis. Yeah, my dad's got a garage and 2 sheds.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, he lives
Yeah.
in the garage, and the other 2 are just full of wood, so, or other things. We don't know.
Okay.
We know, but yeah, I know. Again, if you can see and you have echoes of your own family and your friendship groups and everything, I think
Yeah.
your heart goes into a book, and it never really comes out, does it?
No, and I think that's what probably, I mean, fortunately, this has had a really
Yeah.
lovely reception, but I think that's what makes it very nerve-wracking, is you're putting so much of yourself and so much of your heart and so much of the things that you really care about into a book, and then you kind of think, well, what if people don't like it? And I thought it would get easier after the first one, but it doesn't. It seems to stay just as hard,
Oh
really. Yeah.
my goodness. I don't know how you
Mm-hmm.
do it. I really don't. Well, I know from a creative perspective, when you put your heart and soul into a project, and I still do it with my photography. You hand over images to a client and go, I really hope they like them, kind of thing. And you are putting, because you've put a piece of yourself into that. If you
Yeah.
get shot down, it hurts.
Yeah, definitely.
And but,
Yeah.
but yours is on a much bigger scale, because there's a lot of these going to be flying off the shelves.
Yeah, well, I hope so. Yeah,
Yes,
fingers crossed.
very much
Yeah.
so. No, it's a glorious cover. Hats off to your cover designers.
Yes, my cover designer, she's done all 4 of them, and yeah. Yeah, I can't actually see you, so I don't know if you're holding it up, but here it is,
Oh right,
for everybody.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
So,
yes. I'm waving it around. Yeah,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah, I really love it. And I have to say, I really love the little candy cane up there for some reason. I just thought,
Oh,
oh, that's so cute.
that,
And it made me want to go and buy candy canes. Yeah.
yes. No, it is. It is really, really lovely. That
Mm,
proper Christmas colours, but also that's going to stand out on the shelves really,
mm.
really well. No, so Kate and men. Shall we roll our
Yeah,
sleeves up and we'll get into
go
the
on
boys?
then. Yeah.
There we go. So Kate has the perfect. Well, I loved that first date. Do you want to? Do you want to? I tell you what, this is a really good thing. Do you want to read the prologue to us? Because that will.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll read you the
Yeah.
prologue. Yeah, let me just find it. So I have to say this prologue is based on something that actually happened to me.
Right. Well, you tell us about that afterwards.
I will do. So everything changed when she saw the soldiers. They were lined up, gripping their firearms, their faces set with determination as they prepared to face the enemy. Whatever mission they were on, it appeared to be well planned. For a few seconds, she marvelled at their smart uniforms, their combat packs, their ammunition belts. If she had any kind of military knowledge, she'd be able to tell who held the highest rank or what type of weapons they were carrying, but she hadn't a clue. Then her mind snapped back from pondering the stripes on their epaulets to wondering if she could escape. Could she make it to the front door and disappear into the night? No, it was futile. She was trapped here now, just had to accept her fate. Were there warning signs there all along? Had she failed to pick up on something? She thought back over the evening, trying to spot the clues that she'd missed. Only minutes ago, she'd been sitting on the sofa, blissfully ignorant of the soldier's presence. If only she'd stayed there, but it was too late now. All she could do was wait. There was a noise in the kitchen, the sound of running water, footsteps, cupboards being opened and closed. He was obviously searching for something. She took a step backwards towards the door behind her, but a floorboard creaked. She froze as he entered the room and saw her. He handed her a steaming mug. She looked around, but there was nowhere to put it. Not a coaster in sight. Not 1 square inch of free space on the table. She had hoped that this was the beginning of something. Dinner, then coffee back at his place. Their 5th date. She might even spend the night with him. But she couldn't do it. She couldn't. No matter how much she liked him, she couldn't bring herself to sleep with a man who played with toy soldiers on his dining table.
Thank you for that. That was amazing. Now, do you want to tell us the story?
So the real life incident that inspired that was I during the pandemic I did an online writing course, and it was quite a full-time one actually. So it was Monday to Friday, um, and you basically did, I think, 3 hours in the morning, and then there was a break for you to have lunch, and then another 3 hours in the afternoon. And I came downstairs to find that my husband had completely covered the dining table with toy soldiers, and they were having a little battle. And at that moment, I didn't know that he collected toy soldiers. So I knew about the board games, but yeah, I hadn't discovered that the boxes, some of the boxes that I thought contained board games actually contained little soldiers. So yeah, that was an interesting one.
Very.
And it was inspired by that.
That is, well, I don't know. I know people who do reenactments, but yes, they will always be boys at heart, won't they?
Yes.
Boys.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I don't know how I would have. Yeah, I don't know if I was in Kate's shoes, if I walked in on that, or a massive train set, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The man in my book 3, Second Chances at the Board Game Cafe, he's a bit of a train nerd. So he has a train set, and which is mentioned in Christmas at the Board Game Cafe.
Yes.
And he goes train spotting, and he plays board games that have a train theme. So yeah, the trains have been in there already.
Yes, the trains are great. So yeah, so a long time, well, 4 years ago, Kate went out with a chap called Xander. Bless.
Yes.
And Xander had lots of soldiers.
Yeah.
And so Kate didn't go out with him anymore.
No, she didn't.
She didn't like him. And then when we meet her in Essendale, there is a chap called Peter.
Yes. Yeah. And Peter.
Yeah.
Go
on.
Sorry.
No, it's all right.
I was going to say Peter was Emily's fiance at the beginning of the Little Board Game Cafe. So so there's a bit of a taboo about Kate going on a date with Peter that she feels she shouldn't, because even though Peter and Emily have split up, and even though Emily is now happy with somebody else, there's still that thing about, do you really date your best friend's ex-boyfriend or ex-fiance? And she's not too sure.
No, it's girl code.
Yeah, exactly.
Permission. But yeah, Peter in my head had a touch of the Action Man around about him.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. He's super for Kate, because he's quite perfect looking. And she's quite perfect looking, so they fit together. Yeah.
Yes, they must make a very striking couple if we ever get to cast them. But Peter, yeah, bless him. I don't know. He tries so hard, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. I did feel for him, because he is the perfect gentleman.
He is. Yeah, he's a nice guy. Yeah.
Yeah, really good. But then, of course, the fly in the ointment appears, doesn't he?
Yeah, Xander comes back. Yeah. And despite the toy soldiers, Kate still, deep down, she's still interested. So.
Well, you would be, wouldn't you? I mean,
yeah. I didn't dump my husband over the toy soldiers.
Well, I would hope not.
No, exactly. So yeah,
you just sort of gave him certain hours in which he could play with them.
Yeah, I sort of try not to have them on the dining table for too long at a time. Yeah,
not in the middle of a dinner party.
No,
definitely not. I mean, Xander had that sort of whole, big coat and running around like David Tennant did in my head.
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah.
Energy about him. Yeah. There's lots of beautiful positivity, even though he's a professor, isn't he?
He is, yes.
So, so he's got that stability and that sort of grown-upness about it. But ultimately, the little boy is still there.
Well, he's a professor of history, so in his head, the sort of toy soldiers help him understand battles more.
They do.
Yeah.
They do. Yeah. But he's just got that childlike wonder about him as well, which I thought was just a beautiful touch, because he's not pure kind of thing, but he's got that sort of, there is no blinkers with him.
No.
No.
And I think that's a lovely quality in people, when you meet people like that still have that are sort of very in touch with their inner child, and they do really enjoy life, and they enjoy playing or creating things. And I think that's such a nice quality. It's such an appealing quality.
Hugely. And the fact that the way he helps Kate unravel, but in the most gentle, kindest way.
Yeah.
Doing it. We love, as I say, we do love Peter, but he has his own path and his own journey to, because when she says, she clocks Peter looking at Emily, and she realizes that Peter is still totally in love with her, and he will never love her the way he obviously still loves them. So Peter has to sort of shuffle off and go and work through his. Will you pick Peter up again? Will you make it right with him?
I don't know, because I'm my fifth book isn't about the board game cafe, so I don't know if I'm asked to write another board game cafe. Then I think if I'm asked to write another board game cafe, then Peter having a happy ending is probably has got to be on the cards, because he's too sweet a guy to leave him wanting Emily when her life's moved on.
Absolutely. Please don't leave him on the shelf with the board games. No, because he's lovely. But Xander, unravels Kate, I would say, stitch by stitch, line by line, meal by meal. The man
definitely.
Hello. Which is, I still think, one of the biggest, sort of hotness, turn-ons going. A man that can cook. And make you
definitely
laugh.
Is.
Yeah.
Both those things.
No. He really, and I think I love it, the way he does it. He seduces her through chips.
Yes, because I love potatoes. It's one of those people who, because she's quite perfect, she tries to eat low carb and things like that, which we try to do. But potatoes are my complete downfall. I just love them. So
I did laugh at, because I was like, oh, excellent, seduction by chip, marvelous, gotta be done. So I just think as well, let's loop back to the advent calendars then. Because the whole crux of Kate's brain in this book is that she comes up with the phenomenal idea of helping the businesses in the two towns of Essendale and Hebbleswick to become Christmas, basically. Christmas makes them. Christmas lights them up in the middle of the Yorkshire Hills. You've got all the fairy lights you could ever want. And all of the businesses get together and go, yes, we're going to do our own advent calendar.
They do. So it's like a big advent calendar.
Genius idea. I loved it. And I wish. Do you know of anywhere that does it round you?
They do it. I think Hebden Bridge might have had one, but I don't think quite as, I think a bit more low key. I think it was just people in their houses decorating their windows. But I know Saltaire which isn't too far away from here, I think it's in West Yorkshire near Bradford, and that has had a living advent calendar. And I think if you Google living advent calendar, quite a few places come up. So it's not an original idea. I didn't think of it, but I just think it's a gorgeous idea. And I love those things whether it's Christmas windows or whether it's artist studios or sculptures, when you do a little trail from one place to another place around an area. I really like doing things like that, so that's kind of what I wanted to do.
I think it's it's phenomenal. Which was your favorite window?
Oh,
you're gonna get so this.
I hadn't thought about being well, obviously I love Xander's window.
Of course, yes,
I love Xander's window. I'm not going to say what it is, obviously, because that would spoil the end of the book, but so probably his window. And I did make myself cry writing the bit about Xander's window, so that's really nice.
I did. There was yes.
I like the little mice window.
That was clever. It took me I was like, oh, okay. Try, visualizing it. You've got to see
Yeah.
that. Yeah. My favorite were the hangover cures.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
they were funny, and I was going to say, how did you know all of that? Because some of them
Oh,
are
just
pretty gruesome.
Google.
Google,
Yeah, I
right?
just
Okay.
Googled. Yeah.
I was just
Yeah.
about to check that you hadn't sort of tested them out yourself.
No, no, I hadn't. No.
No, and I love the way that you include the entire community. So you've got all the businesses, you've got the GPs, you've got the library, marvelous.
Yeah.
That was in there, but the school gets involved. So it is truly every person in that town is involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I sort of liked being able to bring in people that had featured in the other three
Yes,
books.
yeah, it does.
So that,
Can we
yeah,
can we talk about Mr. B's baubles?
we can. Yeah,
I don't know whether we should.
I know. But yeah,
Yeah, was it fun to bring the characters back? Because there is such a beautiful cast of supporting characters.
yeah.
You've
And I
got the
love
perfect.
Mr.
Mr.
B.
B
Yeah,
is just. Tell everybody about
yeah.
these baubles then.
So Mr. B is Polish, but he lives over here, and his I think his surname is oh, I've forgotten his surname temporarily. Sorry
That's
about
fine.
that. But everybody calls him Mr. B
Yeah.
because they can't pronounce his surname properly. So my husband's actually from a Polish family, and his surname is Hermaszewski.
Wow.
But but his first name is Richard, but I can't pronounce it properly in Polish, so I actually call him Hermie,
Okay.
and a lot of his friends call him Hermie.
Yeah.
So yeah, so Mr. B is an elderly Polish gentleman who he supports Emily in book one when she's first opening the board game cafe. He's her first customer, and then he's a Scrabble fiend. So he featured in Love Letters on Hazel Lane because that book's all about Scrabble and the Scrabble Festival. I think he pops up in Second Chances as well. And in this one, when Kate is looking for people to do a window display, Mr. B says, "Oh, I can put my baubles on display," and doesn't realise that that's slight bit of a double entendre. Yeah. But in Poland they do have the most beautiful tradition of glass baubles.
Yeah.
And so I just wanted to include them because they are really special and really beautiful, and I love including bits of Poland in my books because obviously with my husband's heritage it just feels like a nice thing to do. So there's lots of Polish food as well keep cropping up in the books. So yeah.
No, that is lovely. But yeah, no, I love Mr. B. He really made me laugh.
Yeah.
But I did, as I say, the hangover cures from the GP surgery I thought was genius.
Yeah, I pictured them being like naughty little boys, really, getting all this weird stuff together, like an eyeball and all of that, and putting it together in this very random window. And yeah, I thought it was funny. That one made me laugh when I was writing it.
No, it does. It is brilliant. And it just, I say, we've talked about it before, but it is, the importance of support and, everybody supporting each other. When things don't quite go right, people, pick up the tools and off they go because it is such a tight-knit community, which is just so beautiful to see. Yeah, I really, really love them. And then, okay, so we're not going to give away what Xander's window is.
No. I don't think we should.
No, we won't. But let's just say, I think it is probably one of the most powerful symbols of Christmas that you can get. And I think what is lovely about the end of it, I mean, it was hugely fitting, but the power of Christmas and what it does for communities, for people, and those, can we talk about the laden tables? Can we talk about Christmas Day at all?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Of course.
Okay. We're not giving anything away, really, are we?
No.
But the power of what the whole process has done for the community.
Yeah.
And pulling together for that Christmas lunch. I mean, everybody goes to the board game cafe and just gets on with it, basically, and they have the most amazing time. But
how, you know, I've written down here, generations gathered at table.
Mm.
And it doesn't matter whether you are blood family or found family, you know, that is the power, isn't it, of togetherness at that time on that day. And yeah, that does bring a lump to your throat, I think.
Yeah, and especially the mention of Emily's mum, because Emily lost her mum when she was 16, and that's a big part of the Little Board Game Cafe, part of the first book. So I liked bringing it in at the end of this one as well. So
I think the bit that really got me choked up was the empty seat that edition. I didn't know that, and I was like, wow, that sort of really hits, and it's glorious, absolutely amazing. So, you know, hats off to you, lady. You got me right.
Thank you.
I absolutely adored it. But yeah, I think, you know, there are a lot of Christmas books around, but I defy anybody to not be moved and absolutely cheering from the hills that this is probably one of the best ones I've read for a very long time.
So, oh wow, thank you. Gosh.
I just loved the whole sort of ethos of it, and the people, and the way, you know, as you say, it's not schmaltz, you know. That's what I personally, for me, I like a bit of bite, and, you know, to have the bigger issues in it, it makes it much more relevant, I think, in today's culture and society. And this is what keeps cozy reads going, isn't it?
Yeah,
you know,
you can be cozy without being cheesy, and that's what I really want to do.
Yeah, and I think you've absolutely slam dunked it. Now, tomorrow, this comes out tomorrow, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
It does?
Yeah, it does. Yeah. And I'm going to go and see it in probably my favourite bookshop, actually. I'm going to drive over and have a look at it in their shop just to see it on the shelves, which is probably a bit sad, but feels like a fun thing to do.
Where is your favourite bookshop?
It's called Darling Reads, and it's in Horbury near Wakefield.
Okay, yeah. All right. Now I want to see pictures. And
okay, yeah, you will. I'll definitely be posting on Instagram. Yes.
Absolutely. I think it is just glorious. So yes, tomorrow, people, run out, find your local bookshop, and go and grab yourself a bit of Christmas, because this one will take your breath away. And maybe go and buy a board game at least, or go and find it. I can see them on the shelves behind you.
They're on the shelves behind me, and this is, if you like word games like Scrabble, this is quite a good one. This is called Hardback, which is obviously a good one for a writer to recommend. And it's just a brilliant little game where you've got letters and you're making words like you do in Scrabble, but it's a bit more complicated. It's great fun. So that's one I'd really recommend if anyone fancies trying a different game this Christmas.
Oh, we always do. We play Scribble.
Oh wow, okay.
Which usually has us all, you know, crying and splitting ourselves in laughter, falling off chairs as to what anybody has actually read and drawn. And then what else do we play? The one with all the logo. That always ends as a fairly fierce competition round after Christmas dinner. I like Hardback though, because my sister is a fiend at Scrabble. And she wallops my mum on holiday. You know, they have to sit for hours and play Scrabble. It's a tradition. It happens. But if there's anything to slow her down, I'm having it. So,
it's a good one for Scrabble fans. We've got friends who are really, really crazy about Scrabble, and they like playing Hardback too. So,
well, we shall do that. Now, just a quick one then. Does anybody have any burning questions? Let me just see. I don't know whether I can see questions on here. No, there's nothing on there. I can't say. No. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Jennifer, for joining us in the lounge.
Thank you for having me. It's been lovely. Yeah.
I am really pleased. I really love talking to you, and I hope I will see you in the flesh very soon.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah.
yeah, we probably will bump into each other at some point. So again,
I'm sure we will.
Yeah, one last pitch. Here we go. Christmas at the Board Game Cafe. Go grab it tomorrow, people. Look, there, both of us are waving it around. It's got to be done, got to be read. But I wish you a happy publication day for tomorrow. You know, I hope it flies off the shelves, and I'm sure it will. So thank you so much to everybody who's joined us this evening. Thank you to Jennifer one more time, and we will see you. I will see you next week with the marvelous Alex Brown, who we're going to Greece next week. So Christmas, Greece. Yeah, no, I'm there for both. So thank you again, and have a good rest of your evening.
All right. Yeah, you too. Thank you.
Cheers then.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.